All right, much better. So, had to log in, log back out. I'm going to have to come back in here and edit the description. So, I will come back to edit, put some of those links in there so that you guys can reference those. But happy Tuesday. So, happy Tuesday. This is the Domino Effect. I am Dominique. And today is really important because we're going to be talking about your business address. And I get this question a lot, so I thought that that this was the perfect subject to talk about today because a lot can change over the course of a week, over the course of a month, over the course of a year. Things are constantly changing, right? When it comes to business credit and when it comes to business lending and the types of funding that you're able to access. So, here we want to talk about how you're able to do it successfully, quickly, right? But step by step so that you're doing it in a way that streamlines the process so you have a smooth transition, right? So I'm going to give you all of my combined knowledge that I have. That is what this channel is for. So we are going to be doing live streams every Tuesday, every Thursday to be able to give you all of this information. If you see me going back and forth, it's because I'm not a videographer and I am talking to two screens at once right now. So that is exactly what we're doing. But as this channel grows, as we make more of these videos and as we do more of these trainings, then my skills, my videography skills will grow as well. So, or if you're a videographer, then reach out to me and let's connect, right? So, what we're going to cover today is your business address because this is super important. I'm constantly talking to people about a lot of people have registered their business with their home address or they're using a PO box. So the first thing that we need to be talking about is how you're going to get your initial approval, guys. And so this is how it really works. And think of it like this trifecta, right? So you have to get accounts that are reporting. You have to get accounts that are reporting to your business credit agencies. And then once you get them, you pay them, right? Pay them accordingly. And so that they report, because you want to have a trade line. You want to have this payment experience that's going to be reflecting. So the first thing you got to do is you got to get these trade lines. And then the next thing that you have to do is you really have to create your profile. You have to create this business credit profile because the number of accounts that show on your profile are really going to show like how lendable you are, like your strength, right? So the third thing you have to do is you have to get a business credit score. So all of these things are part of the trifecta, guys. Trade lines, a profile, a score. And so when you have all of these, now you have this asset, right? This asset that's going to allow you to get more approvals. And then the more and more approvals you have, that opens you up for more and more fundings. So the more that reports, the more tiers that you have. And then if you haven't heard me say tiers before, or if you're new to this channel, you're new to this training, tiers is kind of like the next step, right? That you get to. So we started at tier 1, we moved to tier 2, we moved to 2, 3, and so on. But basically, the more that you're building up your business credit reports, then the easier it's going to be for you to access funding. And it really does help create this robust profile. And it's the basis for you being able to access much better rates, much better terms when you're able to access some of the direct lending, right? When you have cash flow, when you have collateral and things like that. But if you're just coming in and if you're just new to this channel, then make sure that you're leaving a comment. Make sure that you're introducing yourself. You're introducing yourself so that we can give you a shout out here on this channel because we want to be promoting small businesses and encouraging questions, right? We don't want to run into situations where we're seeking funding at the last minute and then letting opportunities just blow by. That is a huge thing that affects a lot of female-owned business, Black and brown business, Main Street businesses, is not asking questions or not knowing where the right resources are, right? So we're here, ask your questions, introduce yourself. And if you find this information valuable, then make sure that you're sharing in with your network because our goal here is to have an entrepreneurship school in every single state. Why? Because ownership, right? Ownership is the key to economic mobility, and we want to get excited about economics. So, anyway, back to business addresses. So, how do we build this quickly, right? Well, in 2024, and I say like 2024 is this year of opportunity. I think we're at this really pivotal time, guys. So, in order to take advantage of these opportunities, excuse me, got a cold. In order to take advantage of these opportunities, you have to be prepared, right? So one of the things that we saw, because here we teach you what to look at from the position of the lenders and the underwriters, right? So one of the things that we saw from in 2023 and 2024 is there were a lot of denials for really, really, really simple stuff that can be easily controlled. So we can, what does that tell you, right? We know that the barriers are there, but if we can identify the barriers, then we can quickly mitigate them, right? We can quickly combat them. So what we got to do is we got to start this off right? And that's not waiting until the last minute, but that's getting your reports. That's making sure that your foundation is established and making sure that you can get approved for these vendors in these loans and at the right time, right? So you're not wasting things like your inquiries or your personal guarantees. So I know I talk about this a lot, but I talk about preparation, I talk about the steps and the foundation, but it's so, so, so important when you're thinking about funding. And a lot of business owners don't think about this aspect, right? Financing is not really super sexy, right? So we don't really pay a lot of attention to it. But this is one of the most critical pieces, right? Let's think long term. So this is one of the reasons why you've got to set this up correctly, because right now, if you're not getting all the approvals that you want to get, or the approval amounts aren't as high as you want to get, right? They're really low amounts, or you're not getting the rates and terms that you want, you've got really high payments, or you've fallen into a predatory loan, or you're not even getting approved at all, right? Or you've hit a wall at the bank and you need more funding. So if this is you, it might be because you're likely not credible. There's something in the foundation that is off. You're not credible. You're not legit. Something about your foundation is sending a red flag to the credit issuers and the lenders. So we encourage you to do everything separate address, separate phone number, EIN, separate entity, okay? Separate email address, meaning not a Gmail, not a Hotmail. Get this at a professional, okay? A professional email address, because you want to create another entity altogether, okay? So if you haven't done this, guys, then reach out immediately for your funding planning session. And in the link, I'll put it below. But I got to do some finagling, right? Because we had some technical difficulties in the beginning. But if you haven't done this, like I said, get your funding planning session immediately, right? But we can talk through some of the basics right now. So the first thing that you want to make sure is you want to make sure that you have your entity, so that you have a corporation or your LLC. And the second thing you got to make sure is you have a separate address. Okay, you need the separate address. That's what we're talking about today, why your address matters. And so the easiest thing that you can do here is you can get a virtual address, a virtual office. Okay, not a virtual address. You want to get a virtual office. And so if I could screen share, I would show you right now. But if you're at home, then you could just pull up your phone and you can follow along with me, or you can come into one of the webinars that we do, and I can screen share and we walk you through this as well. But what I would show you is pull up something like ipostal.com, right? If you look, you can see that they're like a mailbox site. Basically, you can get a virtual address. This is not what you want, okay? So if you go to something else, now I want you to go pull up another tab and go to Regis, right? Look up Regis, look up Da Vinci, look up Alliance. Okay, these are actual offices. Okay, where if you look on Google and you actually put in a map of the address, and I want you guys to do this. Okay, do it side by side. If you look it up, you can actually see the difference. Okay, Regis, Da Vinci, Alliance, they have commercial office buildings, right? And usually like big cities. Okay, now with as opposed to the mailbox. Now they don't want you to use the mailbox, okay? The problem with that is it's not a physical location, okay? Now, the lenders and credit issuers have figured out a long time ago that they don't want to lend to you if you don't appear to be a credible business. And they're going to stick to it. So there's not going to be any type of, oh, well, maybe this. No, they're going to stick to exactly what their restrictions are and their requirements are. So, like I said, that is my advice. You could do this right now. Go on Google, open up 2 tabs, go to something like iPostal, compare that to one of the 3 I just gave you. Okay, Regis, Da Vinci, Alliance. Okay, those are 3 that you can check out. right now. Go check that out and you can just see the difference. Okay. So and then you know why this is important, guys, is because back in the 80s, the government wanted to know the difference between these addresses. Okay. So they wanted to know the difference. They require now all of these places like UPS, iPostal, USPS to basically put their addresses in a database. And now, fast forward to now, they have access to this database. So they know, okay, they can see if you are one of these mailboxes or not. So if you're using one of these, you're instantly going to get declined, just instantly. Okay. So we're seeing that more often now because people are going this way because maybe it's a cheaper option or they just don't know that that this is actually one of the reasons why it's affecting their approvals. So here is, I'm going to give this to you straight, guys. Here's the pecking order with your addresses. Okay. So first, number one, you want to get a real retail commercial location. Okay. If you can, and if that's the type of business that you have, you go into a real physical location. But second of all, not every business needs that, right? Not everyone needs that. Some of us work from home. We have e-commerce or SaaS, right? SaaS businesses. We don't necessarily need to work out of a physical location, right? Especially, or what if you're just starting, right? So, like I told you, what you can do in those situations is you get a virtual office, not address. You get a virtual office. Okay, so you get the virtual office. But that's one of the options that you can do. And then the second one that you could do is this is a pecking order. Okay, pecking order is home address. All right, now be aware, and I've had this conversation many times, that there are financing sources that will never lend to you if you have a home address. It's just, they'll never do it. It's just not in their algorithm. So I've talked with business owners that just want to keep what if I keep my home address as my business address? I'm comfortable keeping my home address as my business address. Ultimately, the decision is up to you, guys. Okay, it's up to you what you want to do. But just know and be aware that you are essentially limiting yourself. So ask yourself why you would want to do that. And ultimately, the idea here is to keep it separate, right? So I'll give you an example of a company that will approve you and one that won't. So Walmart is a great example of a company that will never approve you for business credit if you have or sorry, for corporate credit, right? If you have a home address, they just won't do it. Okay. The computer will automatically decline you. But Amazon is one of those places that will. So if you use your home address, it's up to you ultimately. But remember, the goal here is to keep this separate. But one of the things you never want to do, don't ever use a PO box or a UPS address. And if you have one of those, then just reach out and we'll help you get it changed. So we really want to create this complete separation, guys. So if the virtual office is your best bet, then go there. Okay. You don't have to get into a physical location, especially if you don't need it. But now I'm going to give you a bonus here because we touched on the business address and this is what matters. But part of this also, really another part of this is your phone number. Okay. I have to mention your phone number because you need a toll-free number. All right. You need a toll-free number. I would stay away from Google. Don't get a Google voice number. Don't ask me why, but we see a lot of clients for Google voice numbers. So I would just stay away from that one. And then also, I have to say this, guys, make sure that you're setting up your business bank account. Make sure that you're separating all of your info, right? Everything, separation. And they're making sure that everything matches on the same. Because remember, we said one of the number one reasons that most of these get declined is for fraud. So you want to have your business name, your business address, your business phone number, your EIN, everything matching everywhere on the back end. And I do a business credit workshop webinars. I'm going to be doing a funding challenge. If you're interested, then let me know, reach out. But there's an order to getting all of this stuff done, okay? And a lot of people, they get surprised when they say you get your entity as the last thing. Well, you can, right? You could get your entity as the last thing if you haven't gotten any of this stuff set up, right? If you're just starting, right? From that perspective. then yes, you want to get that set up. You want to get your phone number. You want to get your email address. You want to get the business address in line, and then go and file with the Secretary of State and IRS. So then you don't have to go back and backtrack. Now, for a lot of businesses who are already established, then we just go back and we help you fix those areas like we have with multiple other businesses. But we do it in a way so it's set up so you're not getting denied. Because believe it or not, guys, 90% of clients that come in, it's for things like this. It's for foundational pieces that could easily be fixed, right? Simple stuff that could be fixed. So, fraud is the number one reason that a lot of businesses get turned down in 2024. So these computers, keep this in mind. The computers and algorithms are doing the searches. So you have to get in front of this, right? Utilize the system of preparation to leverage opportunity. So we're getting in front of this, making sure that everything's listed and matching and congruent everywhere. But business address, guys, I gave you the pecking order. Okay. I gave you the pecking order of business address, what you should have and what you shouldn't, and what the lenders are looking at. And also, when you think about this with your foundation, think about this in terms of like Google ranking too. Google is looking at picking out kind of the same things, right? They're looking for kind of the same stuff online when they're going to list your business. So, oh, I want to leave you guys with one of these tips. Okay. One of the biggest things that we saw in 2023 was a serious increase in the lender's desire to have a professional website. All right. So this is something that, I've said before and that we've mentioned before, but now we're seeing a lot of declines, a lot more declines just because people don't have that. They don't have that professional website. So make sure that you're looking into that. There's an easy way to fix that. We partner with some amazing companies like Profit Lifter. They're amazing. They work with their clients for like 97 bucks a month, right? And you get a 7-day free trial, but they're super professional and they have a scheduler, and I mean, really, really crazy. So, but there's really no excuse not to have any of this stuff done, especially going into 2024. Okay. So guys, it's Tuesday. That's what I got for you today. All right. Why your business address matters. Do you have to change it if you have a home address? It's ultimately your decision, right? But why limit yourself? We're making different decisions in 2024 so that we can have different conversations, okay? And open up different opportunities, because the goal with the domino effect is to create conversations, but also to create resources and clear pathways to funding, right? So we need you guys, we're giving you the resources. We need you to take the steps. Now, you don't have to do it, right? But why wouldn't you, right? So that's all I got for you today. I'm Dominique. Let's get you funded. Come back on Thursday where we're going to be talking about this incredible woman. Her name is Emma Chamberlain. She grew her coffee company using social media. So that's how we're going to be talking about female founders. If you found this information valuable, then guys, support, like, share, and subscribe, because we want to drive 1 billion into the economy for entrepreneurship, for communities, to create small businesses, entrepreneurship, and an entrepreneurship school in every state. It is important. Okay. This is important. Small businesses are vital to this nation and vital to your family, to your legacy, right? Everything is becoming much more polarized. So it's time to take control. And the way to take control is to be prepared. So let's do that. And I'm excited to be able to share this information with you guys. So see you next time. I'll see you on Thursday, and let's get you funded.